Hi there, my name is Steve Gearhart, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. This is a labor of love for me, so thank you so much for watching the video. At the end of the video, I'm going to talk about my panels at AnimeUSA for next weekend, and but in the meantime, we're going to talk about a review in anime that is not what I've been doing lately, which has been about romance, bromances, and healing animes. We're going to go to the other side of the spectrum, and we're going to get a little shonen-y, all right? So let's get into it. So this past week, I wanted to watch a different kind of anime. It's something I haven't really watched in a while, or a genre of anime that I haven't watched in a while, and that's kind of shonen. Kind of dystopian, I wanted something a little bit darker this week. Last week we were talking about a bromance in the karaoke, Let's Go Karaoke anime, talking about Rory Rock's healing anime and things like that. So I just kind of wanted to spice things up a little bit and watch an actiony anime that had some dark undertones to it. And on Crunchyroll, they actually put up on the banner a lot. Gachiakuta, and the art style was very interesting to me, but I just never got a chance to watch it. So finally, I gave it the 3-episode review treatment. So I watched 3 episodes just to get an idea, see how the animation is, see what the characters are like, and what the vibe is, where it's going to go. And so that usually by end of episode 3, I have a fairly solid idea, enough idea to do a preliminary review of it. So so it's going to be Gachiakuta. For some reason I have trouble saying that. I'm not sure why. So let's go into the actual information here. So obviously this is a manga, from a manga. Let's see here. It's written by AKIRA. It is in Shonen Magazine Comics, or actually Weekly Shonen Magazine. Started back in February 2022, and it's still ongoing. It's got about 16 volumes at this point. The anime was recently released back in July, so this is a summer seasonal. And started on July 6th. We are at episode 13 right now. I've just gone up to episode 3. So it's directed by Fumihiko Sugamuna. Hope I said that correctly. And this is done by Bones. So if you don't know who Bones is, some of you know that they did Eureka 7, My Hero Academia, Full Metal Alchemist, Bungo Stray Dogs, Mob Psycho 100. I'm just going down the list here at this point. Some of the movies they've done is Escaflowne back in 2000, Cowboy Bebop the movie 2001, Sword of the Stranger. So yeah, you get the idea. So this is so it's not surprising to me that I found the art style kind of interesting. And so let's get into the plot here. So there's not a whole lot special to the plot. Basically, it's a boy named Rudo. We start off in this very hoity-toity town. Everyone's dressed in white. Everything's clean and wonderful and docile. And, everyone is just, appears to be rich. And, it's very almost Parisian, right? And so they make a big deal of taking out the garbage. And so this garbage gets dumped into these various receptacles or various portals, and they're dropped into a subterranean kind of holding facility for this trash. And what happens is that these people, for some reason, they're trashed. These rich people, they live within the city, and like I said, very clean. And they value their trash, meaning that they don't want it anymore, and they just cast things aside if it's remotely ugly, or like for example, it starts with a kid with a doll, with a dog doll, and it's just a little messed up. Got a button for an eye, and the mother's just like, "Oh, just throw it away. We'll get you a new one." Okay, yep, just toss it, right? So there's no value in items, but things are kind of recycled there to help society along, so to speak. So they value their trash in that way, but otherwise it's just kind of like they're just things, right? We come to see a couple people who are shabbily dressed, but kind of have similar clothing. And people kind of do the whole, oh my God, look, it's a bum over there. How dare they be in here? I wish we could just get rid of them. Guy notices it and walks out, goes through a gate, and then you realize that it's a walled city, and there's this huge slum that surrounds the city. And then we cut to Rudo, who's our protagonist, and he's doing a trash raid. So he's going into these areas where the trash is, and what he's doing, he's trying to find stuff that he himself can put back together and sell in the slums, to make a living and to feed himself and his adoptive father and that kind of a thing. And he gets found, and there's a chase scene, and he manages to escape because he gets a bullet grazed on his shoulder. And as he's sitting there in an alley putting stuff together, a girl that he happens to think is cute comes up and starts talking to him. Then the other guys come up and look at him, and they say, oh, there's something massively wrong with you because your father was a mass murderer, and you're going to be a murderer too. And that's when we get a closer look at the kid's eyes, Rudo's eyes, and they're red, and he kind of has this kind of crazy thing going on, and he's having a hard time connecting with other people. And they keep saying, you should be thrown into the pit. You should be thrown into the pit. The girl says to him, just don't listen to him, whatever. He goes home, and his adoptive father, Regato, is trying to raise him. And we see his gloves, and we come to find out that when the kid Rudo takes his gloves off, his hands are black, and they're kind of got weird, like little red, like almost like cuts inside of them. And it's painful for him, and these gloves kind of ease the pain a little bit. And Regato is trying to raise him to be a person and a good person. And we find out that Rudo's father, was indeed a mass murderer, and he was thrown into the pit, which is kind of a death sentence, apparently. So what happens is, if you're a criminal and you're what you do is severe enough, which, by the way, is pretty much anything, and they kind of string you up and they roll you out to the pit, which is this like dark hole that is huge, and they just drop you. All right. And to either die from the fall or die when you hit bottom, because that's where all the unusable trash goes. So Rudo is, he's putting together the dog doll, and he wants to give it to the girl, and he gives it to the girl, and he's happy. He's kind of like realizing how to make connections with people, and he wants to run back and tell Regato the whole thing. And this really isn't a spoiler because it happens in the first episode. He runs back, finds Regato has been stabbed in the heart, and this guy is like evil looking masked guy is like standing over him and is trying to take a book. Rugo tries to stop him, fails, gets knocked out. When he comes to, the police are there. They see Regato dead with the sword sticking out his chest, and they arrest him, and they sentence him to be thrown into the pit. He is hanging there, ready to be thrown into the pit. He's looking around. He's just like, won't somebody help me? And he sees the girl that he thinks is cute. And she goes, I thought you were a good person, but I guess I was wrong. Drops the doll and walks away. And so he's just like, oh, okay, well, kind of screw you all. And he gets dropped in the pit, and he's just screaming and just like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to have revenge. And he hits the garbage. And then we go into this whole story, part of the story arc where he's experiencing the bottom of the pit for the first time. It's hard to breathe. This is miasma of garbage, and these garbage monsters appear, huge kaiju kind of things, and they're coming at him, and he's discovering that he has a little bit of power, and he's able to kind of defend himself a little bit. This other guy is watching him from afar. His name is Engine, and he goes, okay, well, this kid's got some power. Comes in, saves him. So we think that this is one big garbage desolate wasteland. No, there are actual cities in this wasteland, and of garbage, of this huge ass garbage pit. And Engine takes them to one of these cities, and it's relatively I mean, for a slum city, I guess it's relatively clean. They're able to grow their own food. They're able to generate electricity. They're able to do all these things, and these are people who have been cast off over the years, and these are the children of the people that have been cast off over the years. Turns out Rudo has a power, and he's called a giver, which means that certain he can kind of give items what's called anima, and whatever the true purpose or true spirit that inhabits that thing comes out, and he's able to manipulate that and use it. And that's partially because of the gloves is harnessing his power, which I think is coming from his hands. Engine sees this and he says, why don't you join us? My group was called the Cleaners. We protect the city from these garbage monsters and other things. And Rudo goes, well, I need to get back to the ground level, to get back up there to get my revenge on the people who wrongfully accused me and shoved me down here. Engine goes, well, I don't know how to get you up there, but maybe my boss does, but you're going to have to join my group. And maybe in time we'll be able to get you back up there. And then Engine goes, oh, and by the way, that's not the ground. This is the ground. This is actually Earth. This is actually where people used to live. And so, it's Rudo's mind goes, kind of gets blown. So that's where we're at. He joins the Cleaners, and so that's how I guess the anime is going to move forward. I guess our overarching plot is him kind of doing the thing, getting the band together, and dealing with this group, training how to use his powers, and probably by the end of it, we're going to see him going back to what's called the Sphere, that's where the nice city and the slums are, way up there, and get his revenge. He wants revenge right now, revenge tripping. But of course, we know that Rigato, his father, his adopted father, who's killed, was trying to teach him how to be a good person. So I think in the end, obviously, Rudo is gonna do the right thing. So that's the plot as of the end of episode 3. So Bones does a lovely job on the animation here. The animation, actually, color palette is fairly simple. It's a lot of reds, a lot of whites. A lot of dark tones, so that when you do get color, it really comes out, and I think that's on purpose, so that you can distinguish certain things easily, and either weapons or people and things of that nature. The action sequences are very nice. If you want good old-fashioned shonen combat stuff and moving around, you're gonna get it, and it's not bad to look at. It's actually done quite well. There's really nothing new about this anime. It's dystopian, and it's the typical, boy falls into new world, finds out he has special powers, has abilities, but has to learn things and, learn the lessons, and, in the end has to make the right choice, right? So there's really nothing new in terms of that. There's nothing new in terms of how this is a dystopian society where they cast off things and people, and it's wrong. And so we've seen this before in other types of iterations. There's some interesting world building, though, in terms of the cities that are down in the pit and how they navigate the pit. That's kind of interesting, but overall, we're not breaking new ground with this one. It's visually very good. Again, if you're a shonen fan, man, this is going to do it. This is going to check all the boxes. There are very funny elements in this. This is not a comedy, but there are funny elements to this show that made me laugh out loud. So there is that. Am I going to continue watching this? Probably not. That is not because I think that there's anything lacking here. I don't. I think this is a well-made anime, actually. It's just that it's not in my wheelhouse. I don't think this particular anime is in my wheelhouse. But I wanted to watch something more actiony, a little bit more dark, and that's kind of what I was aiming for. And this definitely delivered. So so no complaints. There's actually no real complaints about this anime. It's just not my gig. This particular anime is not my gig. But I think that if you wanted to give it a try, I think you'll find the things that I liked in there as well. I think you'll enjoy it, and definitely if you're a shonen fan, man, this is going to definitely do it for you. So Would I suggest that you watch it? Yeah, I would actually. I think you might like it. I think you might enjoy it. So yeah, there you go. Gachiakuta. Say that 10 times fast. Um, yeah, go ahead, give it a watch. See what you think. Okay, Gachiakuta. I think I said that correctly. Give it a try, see what you think. I think you might like it. So yes, we're doing Anime USA next weekend, October 10th through 12th. If you are going to be there, I'm going to be doing 3 panels. If you are thinking about showing up, please do. My panels are going to be, I'm going to read them off for you. Go to the Discord here. And so the first panel is going to be in the education room 1. That's going to be Friday from 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. It's going to be my Calm and Angry, the films of Akira Kurosawa and Toshiro Mifune. So I'm going to talk about their histories and how they came together to make 16 wonderful movies, but I'm going to showcase 3 of them. And so please stop on by and watch that. I'm going to play some clips from each movie to kind of describe it a little bit. Then on Saturday, I've got 2 panels on Saturday. The first one is going to be in panel room 2 from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And that's going to be the standalone complex OST, Songs from the Ghosts. So I'm going to be talking about this particular album. I've got about 3 or 4 songs that I kind of want to talk about in particular. I'm going to talk about how this album was produced, how it came together, and 3 of the artists that are in there. It's pretty interesting stuff. So I'm going to be talking about Ilariana Graziano, of course, Yoko Kanno, and Steve Conte. Yes, from the New York Dolls. And for those who are in the know, you know what I'm talking about. I'm really looking forward to that panel. It's kind of in the same vein of the Cowboy Bebop OST 1 panel, where I'm just got a lot of good information, got a lot of good music to share. So the last panel will be Saturday evening, and that's going to be in panel room 5. That's going to be from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And that is anime from the discount bin. So this is, I'm going to be talking about anime that's once popular, now kind of obscure, stuff that's already obscure, and things that are just kind of weird and makes you go, nani? So if you want to just check out some different types of anime, I was just going to talk about that kind of those kinds of anime. Please stop on by. But in any event, at AnimeUSA, should you happen to be going there and you see me and you want to come up and say hi to me, please do. I would love it if you did that. So yes, if you're going to AnimeUSA, I'm looking forward to doing my panels. Hope you'll be there. And more importantly, I hope that you are well and you stay safe so that you can attend such conventions and maybe meet me there or out in the wild or somewhere, because I would love to talk to you guys. But that means that you have to be good, stay well, and do the things to make sure that that happens, because I love you guys. And I'm going to wrap this up with, as always, watch more anime.